Shiny Pokemon have a 1 in 4,096 chance to naturally spawn in the wild, with the lowest odds can go as low as 1 in 512 using different methods. These methods can include the Masuda method or even the isolation method, but more on that later. Using these different methods, how many shiny ghost-type Pokemon can I catch in 2 weeks? The thought of all the ghost types I can catch was overwhelming, but I had a plan. The first Pokemon I wanted to catch was Ghastly using the isolation method. I headed to Mossvale Confluence in Kitakami to find that shiny Ghastly, whose shiny is a bit difficult to see, being just slightly more lighter. Running around can make you kinda go cross-eyed when trying to see a shiny that is barely different. Also, I was looking at the Gengars expecting to possibly see a full white for the shiny, but that was a Mega Gengar, not the normal Gengar. But then I came across this group of Ghastly, and one seemed particularly off, and it would so happen to be the shiny I was looking for around 5 minutes of hunting. This little guy has a pretty neat shiny. Sableye is next on the list with a very noticeable shiny, being entirely yellow from his normal purple. With a Go Shiny sandwich still active from Ghastly, I hopped into a cave just north of Alfornada and started running around looking for a yellow Sableye in the distance. I ended up using the rest of the sandwich and there was no Sableye, but I got an idea. I want to combine two hunting methods, the Masuda method and the mass outbreaks. The Masuda method works by breeding a Pokemon from two different regions. I use an English Fuecoco and a German Ditto, and this will bring the odds with a shiny charm down to 1 out of 512. The mass outbreak method involves finding the Pokemon mass outbreak of choice and knocking out 60 plus Pokemon in the outbreak, bringing the odds down to 1 out of 819. There are a couple tricks to getting the Pokemon to spawn continuously, and that's to leave and come back to spawn more, or to pop down a picnic, which is my preferred method. The two Pokemon I'm hunting using those two methods are Fuecoco for Skeledirge, and a Mouse Outbreak of Bramblegast, our Tumbleweed, whose shiny is just a bit more lighter. As I'm running around knocking Pokemon out, the eggs are hatching with my Flame Body Talonflame. After spending roughly 15 minutes, I came across this guy. It's not a ghost, but what a find. This Pokemon was found at normal odds with a shiny charm, being 1 out of 1,365. After a couple hours, I was unable to find a shiny Bramblegast, and when I turned the game on the next day, the mass outbreak was gone. Shiny Mankey is green, and Mankey evolves into Annihilate, whose shiny is more blue and looks pretty neat. While I was hunting for Mankey, I'm still hatching for that shiny Fuecoco. Day turns to night, and while a Fuecoco was hatching, I noticed something in the distance. After the hatch, a Mankey was under me, and now time was running out. This Mankey could run and despawn any second while roaming, and I need to keep my eye on it because anything could happen. I need to get out of this fight now and catch this Mankey before I do this. I don't want to hunt this again. And I caught him no problem. Another mass outbreak, I found my favorite ghost type of this generation, Greavard. This little pup shiny is a nice yellow, and this outbreak was in the icy mountains, and let me tell you, the blizzard you get here is super annoying. It causes the frame rate to tank, and it's painful. But after what felt like forever, I spotted a yellow speck over the edge and found our little pup hanging out, another shiny ghost caught. My favorite ghost type of all time is next. In the new DLC, there's a spot on the left side of the mountain where a Mimikyu mass outbreak can spawn. Mimikyu shiny is a monochrome version of its original coloring. It can kinda be hard to spot, but using the same mass outbreak method, I had them spawning after putting away a picnic and seeing a group of them together. One looked a little out of place, and I was correct. Shiny Mimikyu was among the ones spawned after roughly 30 minutes of hunting. Mimikyu down. A few days have passed, and I found another Bramblegast mass outbreak. I will not be leaving until I get the shiny. Knockout after knockout, picnic after picnic, I see a Bramblegast, but think nothing of it because its shiny isn't too much different. And check out the rest below, and it clicks that those Bramblegasts down below seem a little darker. And behold, the one I was looking at was a shiny after all. Bramblegast captured. Back into the ice mountain, we got another ghost lurking up here, and that is Froslass. The shiny for her is that her sash is purple instead of orange, and she's a little brighter. It's not a great shiny, but it's a shiny nonetheless. Hunting for the shiny can be quite a pain, just for the sole fact that Froslass is aggressive, so when she sees you, she'll start coming after you just to start a fight. Now this can get annoying when she does run into you and forces an encounter, but after some time, this happens. I have been catching eggs throughout most of these hunts, and I decided to hatch eggs alone in the city, and then this happens. Now this was my only shiny on day 7. My next shiny I was hunting was shiny Duskull, using the isolation method, who has a cool red look to the form. I was hunting up on the same mountain that housed the shiny Mimikyu, and I came across this unit. This was a 1 in 1,365 odds shiny, and I kid you not, just a minute later, this golden rock shows up. Neither were ghost types, but what finds they were. I find a Duskull outbreak where Mimikyu's was, and after roughly 2 hours, I find this. What a cool shiny, but time is starting to run out. There are a couple shinies I'm trying to catch, and there is one in particular I am not happy with. Back into the mountain, housing that shiny Sableye, I ate a shiny sandwich and am giving it another go for that shiny. Spending 15 minutes searching, I see this. This would be the second shiny I found looking over an edge, so be sure to look over edges for shinies. With the rest of my sandwich, I wanted to spend it on a little glitch that's in the game. During the day in Pokemon Scarlet, while in Area 0, there is a Fluttermane who doesn't show up except for the shiny. While down here, I was able to come across not one, but 2 shiny Fluttermane. While I already have a shiny Fluttermane, I named them Trainer Zack and sent them on their way. I spent the final day evolving some of my Pokemon, turning Fuecoco into Skeledirge and evolving Mankey into Primate and hitting Rage Fist 20 times for that Annihilate. I also evolved Greavard into Houndstone. Here's all the shinies we caught on our adventure: Annihilate, Ghastly, Skeledirge, Duskull, Houndstone, and Mimikyu. And then we have Bramblegast, Froslass, Sableye, and an honorable mentions of Geodude, Coughing, and Sudowoodo. You know what is a great challenge? Beating Pokemon Scarlet with only a Quaxly. Then that can be watched right here. So thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.